Walter Omida has a question I think is really profound and really on topic and really important. He says, I'm a refugee from Cuba and I don't want to kick the ladder down for anyone else, but these Syrian refugees are moved like cattle. How do we know they even want to come here like previous refugees such as my family that wanted to prosper in a new land? Is there a difference? This is a profound point. It's a profound point. These two terms are not, this is not an ironclad definition. I'm just going to use it as a shorthand. So let's just say there's a difference between a refugee and an immigrant. And let's say that the difference is that a refugee is running here from someplace else and an immigrant is running here to come here. This is a fundamental problem. When a person, and I don't care. I don't care. I would rather have a country that is 100% black, that we're American patriots, than this country that we have right now where half of the country hates this country. It's got nothing to do with race. It's got nothing to do with ethnic origin. It's got nothing to do with religion. If you want to come to this country and you obey the laws and you stand in line, you do that. You're an American. You're as American as I am. You're as American as anybody is. That's my core belief. That's my religious belief. I believe in this. I think it's noble and I think it's good. But you have to want to come here, and coming here is not just physically coming here. Coming here has historically meant not only coming to America, but abandoning the country that you came from. Not just physically abandoning it, mentally abandoning it, emotionally abandoning it, spiritually abandoning it. My grandfather came here from England in 1911, and when he got here, he wasn't here for the benefits, and he wasn't here to work for a while and go back to Britain. He came here to become an American, and this is the story of America, and that's why America has worked. That's why it's worked. But when you are sent here to a country that is antithetical to your religious beliefs, because we are, as a means of escape, and you're going to stay here forever, it makes me wonder, and I think this is the serious question we genuinely have a right to ask about these refugees from Muslim countries. If they are not coming here by choice, if they are not deciding to give up their Islamic Sharia beliefs and their fundamental beliefs to come to America and live as civilized people, if they're ready to do that, then stand in line and they're as welcome here as anybody else. But if they are being sent here to get away from the murder that their own religion and their own failed societies is determined that they have to leave, and they come to this country essentially against their will and are not interested in becoming Americans, they're just interested in getting away from all this killing and murder, you have to ask yourself, what does that do to their attitude? And what's interesting about this is that when you look at the history of these Muslim immigrants, it's when the population hits about 5 to 7% that they start getting to the point where they start asking for and then demanding their own rules. And by the time it's 10 or 20%, they're in full-blown riot mode because the radicals have the story. And this is why I'm concerned about all this stuff. I think the enormous majority of these Syrian refugees are innocent people, and I don't think they're terrorists. But that's not really the issue. The issue is, why are they here? And what do they expect to do once they're here? And what is the plan for them? Not only what is our plan for them, what is their plan for themselves? When they come from Syria, and when they come from a country with fundamentalist Islamic beliefs, and they are sent to America to escape from that country, what is their attitude going to be when they come to America? Are they going to basically say, all right, now we're in a place that's given us sanctuary and freedom. We're going to become American citizens. We're going to put down our calls for Sharia. We're going to put down our religious beliefs. We're not going to do this genital mutilation on women, and we're not going to stone women to death for adultery, and we're not going to murder homosexuals. We're going to live like Americans, and we're going to adopt their value system. If that's the case, welcome. But I'm concerned that this is not the case, and this is what the issue is. It's not the terrorist issue. Everybody's making it about the terrorists. It's not about the terrorists. It's about the culture. It's about where their heart is. It's about where their heart is. Why are you here? If you are here because you're a Muslim fundamentalist, and the Muslim fundamentalists back in your home country have made your life so untenable that you have to run away, and you're here, and you're still a Muslim fundamentalist, then we have a real problem, because as I began this little oration, Muslim fundamentalism is not only not compatible with the American system, it is antithetical to it. So bringing in large numbers of people whose entire value system is antithetical to ours is a problem. It's not the terrorist issue, although that's part of it. The larger issue is, what are we bringing here? Do these people want to be here? Do they want to be Americans? Do they want to surrender what they gave up in order to come here and join the team? Everybody else that's come to this country has made that decision. I want to know. I want to know. And I think instead of these Muslims constantly protesting that we're questioning their loyalty, I wouldn't mind seeing a few displays of loyalty, frankly. I wouldn't mind seeing a few displays of loyalty to this country. I wouldn't mind seeing some Muslims sign up to go and fight for America. I wouldn't mind seeing Muslim regiments the way that the Japanese did in World War II. The Japanese were slurred. They were not just slurred. They were hated in this country. They were intimidated. They were put into concentration camps by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And instead of complaining about it, saying, how dare you question my patriotism, what the Japanese did in World War II, Japanese Americans, was they enlisted in the army. They wouldn't send them to the Pacific because they'd likely be killed by our own guys. They went to Europe, and the Japanese units served with the distinction that is above and beyond the call of the regular honest-to-God heroism that all the rest of these people showed. They served this country with incredible passion and heroism because they had something to prove, and what they had to prove was they're Americans and not Japanese. And I don't see any of that from these moderate Muslims in this country. None. I don't see any. One voice will stand up, and then they're probably threatened with death. You know, you're either complicit in your own destruction or you're not. You either stand for this country or you don't. Right? Period. I want to know, it's not a question of whether these people are terrorists. The question is, what values are they bringing to this country, and whether they plan to give up those values that they were born with to adopt our values, or whether they mean to keep them. If they mean to keep them, and if they mean to keep them and expand them, then they don't belong here, and they need to go. Because I am not going to watch this country become an Islamic state. I'm not. And by the way, next time you hear these progressives talking about how hate-filled you are, and how awful, what a racist you are, just ask them this. You get into this argument about Islam. Just say this: why on earth do you hate women and homosexuals so much? What is the matter with you? How sick and evil are you? What do you mean? I'm a progressive. I love women and homosexuals. No, you don't. You don't. You are backing a religion that calls for the execution of homosexuals wherever they're found. You're backing a religion that treats women like cattle, that takes women PhDs and puts them in a sack. It's a religion that throws acid in the face of their daughters because they were raped by their uncles and therefore dishonored the family. You ask them why they support a religion that is so horrifically antithetical to women, homosexuals, and everything else that we value. Music, please. Science, you claim to support all this stuff, and yet you're backing the people that are determined to destroy it. You don't get away with this with me. You don't get to go down that road with me. You don't have to call me a racist or a homophobe or anything. I'm the one that's trying to protect women's rights, and I'm the one that's trying to keep homosexuals from being murdered, and I'm the one that's trying to stop women from being put into sacks, and I'm the one that thinks that children shouldn't have to be mutilated because some idiot is so concerned about his sense of Islamic honor. That's why I'm fighting these people, because I love these people. I love these values. Just smack them in the face. Smack them in the face. Don't let them get away with it. If they are backing Islam over America, they're backing murder, they're backing genital mutilation, they're backing the murder of homosexuals, they're backing treating women like cattle, they're backing all of it. And you don't let them get away with it. Just don't.